Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about how to deploy WSO2 products on Microsoft Azure cloud from a architecture perspective. I hope you can use this video as a reference material when you are finalizing the solution architecture, a deployment architecture for deploying WSO2 products on Microsoft Azure stack. So as you can see, WSO2 provides three main products for API management and integration and identity and access management. So WSO2 provides WSO2 API Manager for API management use cases, WSO2 Micro Integrator or ESB for enterprise integration use cases, WSO2 Identity Server for identity and access management use cases. So when you go to WSO2 documentation, which is publicly available, you will see, to start with, you will see these three deployment patterns as a simple, highly scalable deployment pattern. So one common feature in these three deployment patterns, so this is for API Manager, and this is for Micro Integrator or Enterprise Service Bus, and this is for Identity Server. So one key feature, one key characteristics is we require two nodes in order to provide the high availability, and then we will have a shared database to synchronize artifacts between the two nodes, and then we'll have a load balancer front-ending the cluster. So this is the minimum viable deployment, minimum supported deployment for any WSO2 product, regardless whether you run it on premise or in any public cloud vendor such as Azure, AWS, GCP. And looking at the popularity of Azure and the demand in the Azure, I will explain what are the key components you need to deploy, you need to cater in order to deploy WSO2 products. So I'm going to use WSO2 API Manager HA, minimum HA deployment as the example, but it will be more or less similar if you see here for Micro Integrator, for Identity Server as well. So here, as you can see, so I have already drawn this picture for you to make it a very quick video without drawing it from the scratch. So let's look at from the Azure layer. So we'll have the Azure region as the high level container. So this is a single regional deployment, and how to deploy on a multiple regions and how to provide multi-regional solution, which is a highly scalable, is I think a topic for another day. So let's start with the single regional deployment use case. That's why I said it's a simple, highly scalable deployment where any customer can get started with. So here you will definitely start with a virtual network, and then you will have multiple resource groups to group your different resources. So in my Azure subscription or in my cloud deployment, I may have different backend services developed using various Azure features like function apps, app services which provide REST, SOAP, kind of backend services. So the idea is to front end these backend services using WSO2 API Manager in this scenario. So we will have two virtual machines deployed over here in another separate resource scope. So both the virtual machines will contain WSO2 API manager, uh, and then both the virtual machines will point to a SQL database to store the metadata. So I use SQL here, but you will have other options as well, since Azure provides a lot of database options nowadays. And the minimum requirement, hardware requirement for virtual machine can be identified based on the product documentation. So what we recommend is the minimum is having a 2 virtual CPU cores and 8 GB memory. And as you can see, both the virtual machines front-ended by an Azure component, typically a component like front door. So as you know, Azure front door is a layer 7 load balancer, which helps to balance load between the traffic between these two virtual machines. And apart from that, it also provides the web application firewall features, so it can protect the application from common exploits and other vulnerabilities. And in certain scenarios, web front or Azure front door can be used as a CDN, content delivery network, as well in your solution. So this is one of the Azure components you can leverage apart from the WSO2 product. And of course, you can also leverage Azure DNS. As you already know, Azure DNS is a hosting service for DNS domains, provides the name resolution. So by hosting it in Azure, you can manage your DNS records in the Azure account itself. So the consumers can use Azure DNS to resolve their names, and then can come to the front door component, and the load will be balanced between these two virtual machines, and the web application firewall WAF will provide the necessary security solutions, and then the request will be redirected to the backend services that are available in the Azure itself. So the next, in case if you want to connect with the backend service available in your on-premise data center, then we might have to use a VPN technology such as Express Route to route your request all the way from WSO2 API manager layer to the backend that is available in the on-premise data center. So as you can see, it is not that complex to deploy WSO2 products on Azure if you identify the right artifacts, right components. So you may leverage few other things like a jump box, a file share, kind of additional components as well to make it 100% complete a solution. But at a minimum, these are the components we might use to provide a simple, scalable, minimum deployment for any WSO2 product. So this is designed specifically for API manager, but this can also be a little bit of changes. You can leverage the same architecture for identity server and micro integrator as well. Thanks for watching, and then we will also discuss how to deploy a highly scalable multi-regional deployment in another video. So that's it for today. Thank you so much.